CTV News at 5 with Hudson Mack.
Good evening. The long-awaited report into Vancouver's missing women says a combination of bias and indifference led to the deaths of dozens of women from Vancouver's downtown east side. And that bias and indifference came from police and from society as a whole. Inquiry Commissioner Wally Oppal says when the women began disappearing, not enough people cared, because most of them were drug-addicted prostitutes. Today, Oppal outlined why it took so long to put a stop to the killing and what needs to be done to make sure it doesn't happen again. CTV's Stephanie Sherlock begins our coverage.
I have come to the conclusion that there was systemic bias by the police in the women's investigations.
He is greeted with both cheers and jeers. Missing Women's Inquiry Commissioner Wally Oppal speaks to the report released today entitled Forsaken. It is more than 1,400 pages detailing why it took so long to stop a serial killer. He concludes that the police response would have been different were the missing women from affluent neighbourhoods rather than Vancouver's notorious downtown east side.
Investigations of missing and murdered women were characterized by blatant police failures and by public indifference.
Oppal harshly criticizes the Vancouver Police and RCMP, calling for a cohesive police service for the region.
The inability of the police forces on a management level to work with one another. That's why we've recommended a type of regional policing, because right now we have a fractionalized type of policing system.
That gave convicted serial killer Robert Pickton years to hunt his victims without police intervention. Among the other 64 recommendations, more services for sex workers and vulnerable women, including a 24-hour drop-in center in the downtown east side, changes to police policies to reflect the needs of those women, and Oppal suggests the province set up a compensation fund for the families of missing and murdered women. Family members of Pickton's victims are not happy.
That we want an inquiry into this inquiry.
Many say the process was one-sided from the start, meant to protect the police.
The families didn't get the answers that they came for, and we're still requesting that we get our answers, and we want this to go all the way to the Supreme Court. If need be, it has to go all the way. We have to get justice here.
Justice for the forsaken, the impoverished, drug-addicted, vulnerable victims, many of whom could have been saved, but for the countless police mistakes and general indifference. Stephanie Sherlock, CTV News.